Previously on the 40-year sim, the Los Angeles Lakers defeated the Miami Heat 4-1 in the 2002 NBA Finals. Shaq was named Finals MVP, and they did it at Miami with a game-winning shot from Shaq to a very disappointed Miami Heat crowd. This championship would be Los Angeles's. Wait, hold on. They won 5 in the 50s. They won 1 in 72. And then 1980, 1982, 1985, 1991 in the sim, 1999, 2002. How many is that? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. They've won 12 championships. I've settled that. Let's get into the offseason, folks. Chris Mullin has retired. Patrick Ewing has retired. Drazen Petrovic, Rick Smits. These are big names, folks. Scott Skiles, Scotty Brooks, probably going to go off to be a coach in the league. Del Curry, he's got to raise his kids to be the greatest shooters of all time, at least one of them. And the other one's a really good shooter off the bench, right? Seth Curry, solid player, right? But he's a bench player, role player, right? Steph Curry, obviously one of the great players of the 2010s. We'll see him in a couple of seasons for sure. Nice to see Petrovic have a nice long season. You know, of course, his career was cut short in real life in 1993 thanks to a car accident. But he got to play out his whole career and retires in 2002. You got KJ, Kevin Johnson, retiring as a King, where he was drafted. Horace Grant retiring after 15 seasons. Kennedy Jet Smith retiring as a Sun, where he was drafted. John Williams, Derek Chivas, Chris Morris. This is big. These are big names. Rex Chapman, Mitch Richmond, Vinny Del Negro, Avery Johnson, Pooh Richardson. After 13 seasons, he's going to retire. Hank Gathers, who he also passed away before he could even be drafted in the NBA in real life. So nice to see him have a nice little career. You know, it wasn't a big time career. He wasn't a major star, right? But he had a nice career. You know, and it's cool to see that. Ramil Robertson, 12 seasons in the NBA, mostly a backup point guard in the league, backup guard. Carved a nice role for himself. Let's just put it that way. George McLeod, also mostly a role player, mostly a bench player most of his career. But yeah, you know, these are big names. You know, a lot of big names, especially at the top. But even in the middle, you just got a lot of role players are gone. Greg Anthony, Matt Bullard, Gary Leonard, and then everyone below. So, but hey, that is quite the list. Ewing, I wasn't sure if he was going to retire. I didn't get to say goodbye. Never got to say goodbye to Ewing. But he decided to retire, and I got to respect that. And obviously the Knicks, their future is now in question as to what they do moving forward. We'll get into that in this episode and the next episode as we go through these freaking resumes. Let me just say this. This is a two-parter. So this is episode 199, and we'll be doing the typical off-season stuff. Episode 200, we're going to be doing a team-by-team recap of the last 10 seasons, 93 to 2002, and we'll also be going over the 2003 rosters like I usually do in my off-season video. So we're kind of splitting up the off-season. Most of the off-season stuff that you need to know is in this episode. 200 episode is for those of you who may have missed some things, may need some reminding of what happened the last 10 years. So I'm hoping that you guys are able to enjoy both episodes. Patrick Ewing, Hall of Fame. He's in the Hall of Fame. Chris Mullin didn't get in. Kevin Johnson. There's a lot of guys who, you know, only had a couple All-Star appearances to their name, but Ewing was an obvious choice. You know, he never made the finals, but he was an all-star 14 times over. He was an MVP. There's really no question. But what's cool is that Kevin Johnson got to get his jersey retired with the Kings. I feel like in real life, Chris Mullin would also get his jersey retired without question, but I think it was the lack of accolades that prevented him from getting a jersey retirement for the Kings. But yeah, I mean, he should definitely be up there too. I think his number was 17, right? So I'll just He's his jersey is unofficially retired. Kevin Johnson, though, it's pretty cool to see. He's one of the first players from the famous late '80s, '90s Kings to get their number retired with the Kings. Obviously, Arvydas Sabonis is going to follow pretty soon once he retires. Meanwhile, Patrick Ewing, he gets to retire right after Bernard, a couple seasons after Bernard King, decade after Bernard King, I should say. So that's pretty cool as well. Cool to see them get their jerseys in the rafters of their respective arenas. Moving on to historic changes, some rule changes. Players will wear one of two All-Star jerseys during the All-Star game. I think I reversed that. We're implementing buzzer beater reviews. That's fun. The first round of the playoffs now is going to be a best-of-7 series. The Charlotte Hornets are now the New Orleans Hornets. They have completely rebranded and relocated. The floor of the Wizards is different. Oh, I forgot to check that. The logos, uniforms, and floor. The Spurs are different. Bulls, uniforms and floor are different. Warriors, Blazers, also different. I forgot to check some of those teams. I forgot about that. We definitely check out the new courts for the Hornets and Blazers and the Spurs, though. Did I end up allowing this? I'm worried about this All-Star jersey thing. I like it when the players wear their own jerseys. I'm worried that what's going to happen here is that we're going to see them wear the current All-Star jerseys, like the 2023 jerseys, and no one who wants to see that, right? Like seeing Bill Russell's number 6, like patch when in 2003 he wasn't dead yet, stuff like that. Like, we don't need to have that, so we're gonna keep it how it's been, where the players are wearing their own jerseys to the All-Star game. Because I'm worried that we're not gonna, Does that make sense? Let's move on to the draft lottery. So I stop babbling. 76ers with the 13th pick. They barely missed the playoffs. They had a 44-38 record. Their record was tied with the Nets. Nets also 44-38, but they had the tiebreaker. Denver Nuggets, they were 41-41. They get the 12th pick of the draft. So barely missed the playoffs. They had improved from the last 2 seasons, but they still missed out. The Knicks have the 11th pick. This is their first time in the lottery. Well, actually, no, the second time, because the first time would have been when they drafted Patrick Ewing, but they made the playoffs every year since that. First time in the lottery for them. Wizards get the 10th pick. Is this via Indian? Oh yeah, okay, via Pacers. I'm sure during the rebuild they've offloaded somebody to the Pacers for a draft pick, and that's why they have that pick. The Bucks get the 9th pick of the draft. Very nice. We'll see what they're able to do with that. Now let's check out the 8th pick. Could it be the Warriors? It will. So the Warriors, they had a down year. They're a couple of years removed from winning the championship. We'll see if they can get a pick that can get them back on track. Meanwhile, the Toronto Raptors will get the 7th pick. They drafted Pau Gasol last year. They have a really nice front court. They got a really nice backcourt too. We'll see what they're able to do with that. Could be interesting. Sacramento Kings will get the 6th pick of the draft. They had a down year. Their first year missing the playoffs since 1987. So that's interesting. Houston Rockets with their own pick. They're going to have pick number 5. They're deep in the middle of a rebuild, and this is significant because this means no Yao Ming for them. Yao Ming will not go to the Rockets because the Rockets get pick number 5. Wizards, another pick in this draft, but they're actually not going to get the 4th pick. That's going to go to the Jazz. So the Jazz get the 4th pick. The Wizards have leapfrogged into the top 3, so let's see where they land. Top 3, here's the 3rd pick. Could it be the Wizards? It will actually be the Bulls. So the Bulls, they've been in the lottery for the last couple of years now, and they get a top 3 pick. Then it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what they choose to do with that pick, because they got a lot of young players and another star to the mix. Could be interesting. Wizards will not get the second pick. That will go to the Phoenix Suns, which means for the second year in a row, the Washington Wizards get the #1 pick. Last year, they drafted Gilbert Arenas. This year, Yao Ming. That is a very, very interesting duo. Yao Ming and Gilbert Arenas. I want to see that right now. Don't you want to just see that right now? That could be all. I mean, you know how aggressive Arenas is when he has the ball. Now he has somebody to lob it to. Yao Ming in the post. This is exciting. I'm really excited about this. I don't know how good the Wizards will be right away, but they're going to be exciting to watch as they develop. So that's going to be a lot of fun. The Suns, be interesting to see who they get. Amar'e Stoudemire seems like the logical second pick, and they had him in real life, so that would work out really well. Let's see what the 2002 draft. We'll see how it unfolds here. So #1 pick. This should be no surprise. This is an obvious one. Yao Ming from China, 7'5", 310 pounds. Yao Ming goes to the Wizards. Amar'e Stoudemire to the Suns. Straight out of high school, going to the Suns, Chicago Bulls. So Jay Williams, just like in real life. Hopefully he won't have a motorcycle accident in his career, won't get derailed. Tayshaun Prince, I'm stuttering, guys. Tayshaun Prince to the Jazz, that's a good pick. Nene Hilario to the Rockets. Nene, it's a fun one. Rod Grizzard. This guy was not drafted in real life. I don't know why the Kings drafted him. Very curious. Nenad Kristić. I remember him being on the Nets in real life. Now he's in the Raptors. Warriors get Juan Dixon. Milwaukee Bucks with the 9th pick will select Mike Dunleavy, which is a solid pick. Not too shabby, especially with all of the players they have. Matt Barnes to the Wizards. We'll see if he stays on the Wizards. New York Knicks get Dan Gadzuric. Denver Nuggets, John Salmons. 76ers with the 13th pick will select David Bluthenthal. Interesting. Caron Butler to the New Orleans Hornets. That's a very nice pickup for them. Milwaukee Bucks with DeJuan Wagner. Didn't his career get cut short too? He could be an interesting one too, depending on how things play out. Luis Scola to the Nets. I like that pick a lot. I like that pick for the Nets. Hornets with another pick, Drew Gooden. So they got two nice players, Drew Gooden and Caron Butler. Keith McLeod to the Celtics. Denver Nuggets select Fred Jones. Let's see who the Sonics get with the 20th pick. That will be J.R. Bremer. Not familiar with his work, with his game. Spurs select Vincent Yarbrough. So, yeah, Suns. Udonis Haslem, UD, going to the Suns. Interesting. Grizzlies select Chris Wilcox. It's funny because Udonis is like Miami through and through. Do we keep him on the Suns? Maybe in the beginning. We'll see how that goes. Melvin Ely to the Suns as well. Jared Jeffries, he's a name, he's a guy, to the Pistons. We'll see how his career pans out. Razuel Butler, I remember that name for sure. Trailblazers. It's funny seeing some of these like role players get drafted from the 2000s. Jerry Welsh. Atlanta Hawks will select Tito Maddox. Denver Nuggets, the 29th pick. Chris Jeffries. And do we get into round 2? I don't think so. I don't really see why we need to do that. Unless there's a player that I'm forgetting about. Frank Williams to the Suns. Okay. Chicago Bulls select Reggie Evans. Okay. Still not quite sure why we're looking at this. Raptors, Alex Garcia. Wizards with the 33rd pick. Let's see if they get someone interesting. Darius Sungala. Celtics select Chris Owens. I think there is an interesting pick down here, actually, now that I think about it. Dallas Mavericks select Bastian Nakbar. I'm vaguely familiar with that name. Raptors. Oh, Carlos Boozer. That's right. Wow. How did he drop that far? That is a really good pickup for the Raptors. Tamar Slay. For the pick for 36. Really nice pick. DJ Mbenga. Now I'm thinking that's got to be the reason why we were looking this far down in the draft. Juan Carlos Navarro. That was probably a boozer to the Raptors. So Carlos Boozer, I guess he would be backing up Pau Gasol on the Raptors. There's also Ben Wallace on the Raptors. That'll be interesting to see. Maybe he could be a sixth man for the Raptors. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how he fits on the depth chart for the Toronto Raptors, because they already have a really nice front court, but adding him to the mix could really be interesting. I'm really interested in seeing how that checks out. Let's take another look at the draft picks that we just saw and talk about them. Jay Williams, I'm really curious to see how his career pans out in this sim. Maybe he becomes a star point guard, and we just never knew that could happen. Here we are seeing Carlos Boozer yet again. That was a good pickup for the Raptors. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Smush Parker. Ooh, Smush Parker to the Rockets. We'll see if he develops into anything interesting in this sim. But and yeah, in the first round, Dunleavy to the Bucks. I like that pick. Luis Scola, if he pans out for the Nets, that could be a fun pickup. And then you got Amar'e Stoudemire, who's on a Suns team that has Tony Parker and Michael Redd and some other interesting young players. So I'm really curious to see how he's going to fit with that Suns team, and if the Suns can do better than they've done. Last season they were 9-73, not great. So hopefully they can do better than that at the very least. Here is a nice little treat for you guys. These are the up-and-coming young squads, the prospects, 2003 prospects, playing against each other, USA versus World. You got Chris Bosh out there for USA making a basket. You got Jose Calderon representing the world, not the USA, making a basket there. Carmelo Anthony to Chris Bosh. These are the guys that we're going to be seeing in next year's draft. I usually gloss over this, but 2003 is a special draft. I mean, we got to see some of this. We got to see some of this game. We got Calderon for 3. He could be a really nice bench piece for somebody, shooting threes off the bench and stuff like that. Dwayne Wade, there's Dwayne Wade missing a basket, 66-59 late in the third quarter. Jose Calderon, obviously he's going to be the main guy on this world team, making a basket there. LeBron James, there's LeBron James, making his first appearance in the 40-year sim a season earlier than you might have expected. Here he is with the jumper. I mean, if these plays are any indication, as he makes a basket and draws the foul, if these plays are any indication, he could be pretty special in this sim. I can't wait to see him. Of course, the 2003 season, it's not going to just be about the playoff teams. It's going to be about who's going to be able to get LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Carmelo Anthony, Chris Bosh, even Kirk Heinrich, right? Not really Kirk Heinrich, but the first 4 players for sure. Absolute franchise-changing players, so that's going to be really exciting. Meanwhile, this game, Carlos Delfino is going to make a basket and draw the foul, and this young USA squad suddenly are losing by 1 point against the world. So that is not a good look, guys. Carmelo Anthony, please fix this situation. He will miss the shot there. Chris came in with the rebound. Dwayne Wade passing it to Kirk Heinrich, then to Chris Bosh. Carmelo Anthony posting up his defender, making the shot, taking the lead. Tie game now. Came with the basket. Shot clock winding down. He makes a shot. 79-77. We got a rebound and a putback for Team World. And then Chris Bosh nearly loses this ball. Makes a shot there. 81-79. Carmelo Anthony will make this jumper for USA. 83-79. Dwayne Wade to Chris Bosh, making this basket right there. 85-79. We got Ebby. I don't know if I will ever see him in the sim beyond this game. Passing it to Calderon for 3. Camilo Anthony, nice jumper there. Really excited to see how his career pans out, of course. Again, we're gonna have to wait a whole season, several episodes before we see these guys again. So soak it up. I don't know why LeBron James is on the bench, but there's Dwayne Wade making the layup, drawing the foul. It'll be fun to see Dwayne Wade. Maybe not on the Heat, right? LeBron probably not on the Cavaliers. They're still a pretty good team. They got Scottie Pippen and Reggie Miller. And I know there might be some of you who kind of wish that the Cavs would tank for LeBron. They did that in real life, though. And, I know I've replicated real life a couple of times, but I just think in this case it might be interesting to see what would happen if LeBron actually joined the Cavaliers in his prime, right, in 2010 or 2014, as opposed to 2003. If the Cavaliers were in a position to get him, then yeah, obviously they'd get him, but they're just not in a position to do it. They're just not. They still have Reggie Miller. I don't want to just like waive Reggie Miller from the Cavaliers and just completely, uh, completely tear apart that team just for them to get LeBron, and then put them in a situation where he wants to leave in 2010. You know what I mean? Like I actually think it might make more sense to go the other way around and have him come to the Cavaliers in the 2010s. So we'll keep an eye on that. But yes, we've officially entered the 2000s according to the 2K, according to NBA 2K. We're in the Kobe era. So I can't talk. Charlotte Bobcats are joining the league in 2004. League expanding to 6 divisions. Social media in 2007. Sonics were rebranded in 2008 to the OKC Thunder. I have some ideas about what to do with the Sonics, and I'll talk about that some other time. Here's the Spurs' new court. I forgot to check out some of the other new courts, but the Spurs' new court. Here's New Orleans Hornets' new court. So just wanted to give you guys a glance at that. I'll show you the Blazers' new court in the next episode. Forgot to add it here. Here are the trades. So Karl Malone traded from the Pacers to the Warriors for B.J. Armstrong, Juan Dixon, Clarence Witherspoon, and a lot of protected first. Elton Brand and Brevin Knight are going to the Rockets for Chucky Atkins, Radmanovich, Andres Nocioni, and 2 first-round picks. The Bulls traded a lot of protected firsts to the... Oh, that's just the Rockets getting a lot of protected firsts back, which they should have gotten. That pick wasn't protected, and I protected it. That's basically what I did there. The Knicks traded away Latrell Sprewell going to the Pistons for Richard Jefferson, Jared Jeffries, Lindsey Hunter, Stacey Ogman, and 2 first-round picks. That's a big one. Wizards trading Jason Williams for Stacey King and a couple seconds are exchanged in that trade. Any other big ones? There weren't that many, but there were some big ones. Obviously, Karl Malone that's a big one. He's no longer on the Pacers. I'm hoping the idea there is to, there really wasn't. It didn't really make any sense. The money didn't work for him to go to the Lakers like he did in real life. But I thought he's going nowhere with the Pacers right now. They missed the playoffs and everything. So a move to the Warriors felt right. The Jazz traded Steve Francis and Sharon Wright to the Hornets for Eric Snow, a first-round pick, and Drew Gooden. This is a big one, too. The Hornets trying to add a potential star, as they move to New Orleans. We'll see how that works out for them. Jazz traded Kerry Kittles and Matt Harpring to the Wizards for Damon Jones, Matt Barnes, and a couple of seconds. The Jazz want to move forward with Joe Johnson as their main scorer. And they got Tayshaun Prince and Kenyon Martin there. So the Jazz are trying to... they're making some changes. Let's just put it that way. Dennis Scott, Antonio Daniels, Austin Crozier, Pablo Prigioni, and Raja Bell going to the Kings for Reggie Lewis, Roddy Rogers, Tony Kukoc, and Mark Jackson. Quentin Richardson going to the Knicks for Lindsey Hunter, who's going to the Magic. Anthony Mason, Charlie Ward going to the Pacers for Clarence Witherspoon, B.J. Armstrong, Chris Mim, and a lot of protected first. That's going to the Knicks. Nuggets trade Randy White and Irvin Johnson to the Lakers for Nazir Mohammed, a couple of second-rounders. And the Nets traded James Posey and Courtney Alexander to the Suns for Tony Kukoc, Malik Allen, and a first-round pick. You got Ronnie Rogers going to the Magic. You got Anton Jameson going to the Nets. The Jazz flipped Christian Laettner to the Wizards for Marcus Fizer, Dylan Harrington, and a couple second-round picks. That's it for this off-season episode. I hope you liked it. Like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will catch you next time. Thank you very much, all of you who have been watching my videos. Episode 200 is next.